All right, I'm going to get started. I'm hung up here waiting for Facebook to open up. So let's get started. It is Friday, November 27th of 2020, and this is the TRC sales training call. Welcome, everybody, and a belated happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm thankful for all of you and your interest in wanting to learn more on how to do this better. And so the goal here, as you know, and again, I know it'll be a small attendance because we have Black Friday today and we have the day after Thanksgiving. So I'm certain that everybody that's overstuffed is not here or will roll in late. So we'll get started and we'll go as long as we can with what you ask me. Remember, this call is about that. I'll start off with a couple of anecdotes so that gets the conversation stimulated. But again, it's about you and I need to hear from you. Carla, I know you're out there and a couple other people, a couple other people that came on early. Fran, Chris, a couple other names I cannot see. So I would love to hear from you all. And you are all muted, by the way. So you have to come in and unmute me or unmute yourself because it gets a little noisy as people come in. So if we have a small call, you might have a personal coaching situation here. All right. Unmute me. Let me hear from somebody. So Carla, I definitely want to hear from you. Fran, you can say hello too. And then I don't know who else is hiding behind telephone numbers. Egan, you're there too. So I'd expect to hear from you. Hi, Carla.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. So
good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. Same to you as well.
Thank you.
Any updates on the ability to record or anything that we have so far?
No, and I actually sent you one. I tested it myself before I left. I emailed, I'm not in the office, I'm at home. The office Remax is closed officially today. So I'm at home. I did send over to Kyle, I haven't heard back from him, of the technical person. You said get it in touch with Allison. Okay. I emailed him to do so, but I don't believe he did that.
Allison is Allison Egan, who's not a technical person necessarily. She has a technical background, but she's one of our members who's running a team in Louisville, Kentucky. Her husband's on. I don't know if she's here today too. But I was saying that Kyle should talk to her because whatever she did to use Google Voice to record these phone calls, the quality is the best of anybody that they mail them to me. So I do have an audio from you. So let's see. It's going to open in QuickTime. Let's see if it will. If it will work.
Yeah, I did send you one.
Okay, good. Let's try it. I have it. Any background before it goes?
Yes, actually, good news. I followed up this week, the end of the week, with her, and she actually has an appointment with Scott to see her home to put up for sale, as well as she's looking to buy in the area. That was the dilemma she had, was she couldn't find a place to buy.
Okay, good. Well, that's a big dilemma, right? You're going to find that a lot. We found that many times, and it's been a very lucrative opportunity that I'm talking to another gentleman right now as we speak. It's not necessarily where he's going as much as some of the people that were coming to him, were a little bit slow in making their decisions because they weren't sure about their sales. So this buy-sell issue comes up a lot, and I'll guarantee you that if you send Scott out, he can solve that problem. So any of the top producers in this group will be able to solve that problem. So you want to give them hope that it can happen. Remember, when you call in expireds in particular, a lot of them have lost hope that this can happen. Some of them are elderly and they're stressed out, or they're stressed out. We talked to this gentleman, he wasn't that much older than me, and he was really stressed out about COVID and the process. And it's just a matter of talking them through it, saying, look, we can deal with that. Let's just keep your eye on the prize where you want to go to. In his case, it was Florida. Let's focus on that. He had actually had a lot of showings, even had an offer. And the people couldn't close the offer, and he wasn't really sure why not. So a lot of the problems that you can solve are quite simply straightforward. And so that's why when we get to that second beat of the script, it's important to ask those provocative questions and listen to their side of it. So the first beat of any type of outbound call in particular would be to tell them who you are, why you're calling, what's that context, what you have for them, and then close on the delivery of that thing or that service Then it's the segue. Oh, by the way, while I have you, why are you thinking about doing this? And then leaning in and listening and really hearing their reason, which you did hear clearly because you're articulating it to me. Okay. So that's just a reiteration of what we're trying to accomplish. So let's get after it and let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Yes, hello. Wilda,
Oh, it's
please?
super soft.
Sturdivant?
Shoot.
This is a Wilda.
Oh, hi, Wilda. My name is Carla. I'm calling from Remax Champions.
All right. Hang on one second. Let me just see if I can adjust my preferences and my sound and
Okay.
crank it all the way up, because you're still having that problem where it's really whatever you're doing to record is super, super, super low. Yeah. Built in, out. Yeah. All right, I'm going to listen to it, everybody. So I can hear it okay. So I'll tell you what I hear, and I'll stop it from time to time. But again, we've got to resolve this issue. This has gone on too long.
I agree.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
this has gone on too long. So
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, Scott, Kyle, somebody fix this week on that team, okay? It's not right that we have to keep postponing your training. That's not fair to you. So these guys need to do the right thing. So let me listen. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I noticed you might be interested in selling your home, and I'd like to send you some information, a great starter package, seller plan. May I do that for you?
Okay, so this is all over the place right away. You're not following the script, and I think that becomes really important. This is where I wanted to hear this. And a great starter package and 7 tips is not what they want, Carla. So don't wing it. It's really dangerous to wing it like that. You sound wonderful. You sound, very professional. But again, when you're not following the system, you're winging it. And the way you're setting this up is they don't want this thing because they don't even understand what you're saying. Because you have to remember, a plan, nobody's given them one. I mean, if they had a plan, they would have already closed. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, so don't start telling them about the plan. That's not your job. That's Scott's job and the delivery package's job to show them. What they want is what? You've been on enough of these calls. Try to remember what I've said. And if you can't, I'll help you through it. But go ahead, take a crack. What do they want?
Obviously, they had a problem selling their home. They want to sell their home.
Okay, that's true. But when somebody's curious about buying or selling, and they go to the internet, for example, what do they want?
Well, they want a particular a house that they're looking for.
Okay, think about, hold on.
They
Think about
want
what's in front of you. You think it up, hold on, you think it up in your head. Think about what's in front of you. If I'm sitting here and I have my cell phone, and I am thinking about, if you can see my background, I'm in lovely Colorado. If I'm thinking about buying a property in Colorado, I open this up and I go to what? What do I open up? What app? What app do I open up?
Houses to buy.
Come on, Carla. Come on, you're overthinking. Just say it as fast as you can. What app on your phone do you open? Pick one that you would find houses for sale. Which one?
Zillow.
Okay, good. Zillow,
Google,
Redfin, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And what do you do when you get on any of those?
Whatever it is.
What do you look for when you get on those things? What do you look for?
Certain price that I'm looking for of a house.
Carla, ready? Here we go. See how much you're in your head.
Okay.
Which is why the stuff that's coming out of your mouth is not the script, because you're trying to do this on muscle. Okay. So I've already proven my point to you in the first training call. I can barely hear. Okay. This is not effective.
Right.
I'm looking for properties and their pictures and their details. That's it. See how much you were fighting it.
Okay.
I'm looking for pictures of properties. What's for sale? That's all I'm looking for. Pictures. And then if I like it, I open it up. Details.
Pictures.
How big is it? How big is it? How many bedrooms? Well, that's it. See, we all overthink this business.
Right.
The consumer goes to the phone to look for houses for sale. And when you look for houses for sale, you look for what? Pictures. And if you like it, you look for what? Details.
Right.
Got it? Simple.
Right.
Then price.
Yep.
That all mixes in. So here's the answer. What they want is what? What do they want? I just told you what they wanted. What do they want? Say it.
Pictures.
Thank you.
Pictures.
Thank you.
Pictures, details.
Stop. You got it. Stop. And it's in your script. So if you were reading the script, you have the script in front of you by any chance? I know you're not at the office, so I'm catching a little bit of. Now remember.
Actually, no, I took it home with me.
Okay, good. Now remember, I'm roughing you up. Because it's a pattern interrupt with the way you're thinking. It's the way you're thinking is incorrect because you're not studying the script. The script really matters in the beginning to keep you in line. You're looking for an offer that converts always in business, a telephone offer that converts. You don't understand it's an offer probably because you don't understand that if something free is an offer, right? We always think an offer gets me a lead, gets me a sale.
Right.
No, an offer can even get me some more time on the phone. Okay. So offers keep the
Right.
ball rolling. So when you go into this and you get on the phone and you're making these offers, you have to see if they convert. So the reason that we know that these convert is because over time we did the same thing you just did. We had these weird scripts that we inherited, going right after somebody's motivation and time without ever really caring for them, never being of service. So the idea here is this person failed. Okay. So if they failed and others around them succeeded, what would they want? Stay with the answer that you already know, but give me some other things about those properties around them. One status. What is the status of the stuff, pictures and details that would tell them something interesting? It's one word, 4 letters.
Price.
No. Close. Close. I just failed and others around me didn't. What is the 4-letter word that describes something that's sold? Sold. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Carla, calm down. Breathe. In through your nose,
Yeah.
out through your mouth. Let go of the wheel. I
Okay.
can hear it. I can hear you. You're holding onto the wheel like this is a test. You and I are trying to have a conversation, and the reason I'm making it fast, let go of the wheel. Sit back in the chair while you're listening to me. Sit back. Lower your shoulders. Relax. This is a test. It's beginning. Right? Relax.
Okay. Okay.
Pictures and details of properties is the core of this entire business. The MLS is filled with pictures and details of properties. That's what this business is, a conglomeration of a whole ton of pictures and details of properties that are for sale, that are pending with contingencies, that are sold. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. That sits in the where? Tell me where that sits. What do you know about real estate right now? All that information sits where?
It's on the MLS, the list.
Mm-hmm. Amen, sister. Now I got you talking simply, okay? It's in there.
Yes.
Tons of it. Amazing information and detail. Amazing. It's incredible. Think about Wall Street with all its information that's online. Think about the multiple listing service with all this financial information about houses. It is a plethora of interesting information that, if taken out and interpreted for a seller, would be wildly beneficial. Agree?
Yes.
Okay. If you were selling your house, what would you want to know?
How much it's worth? I would be looking up online.
Good.
The value.
Good.
What's sold around me?
There you go. What's it worth? And how I start to figure that out is to look what my neighbors are getting, period. That's it. No rocket science to
Right.
it. None. No algorithm needed.
Yep.
That's the logical steps to understand this. By the way, for all the buy-side agents listening or buyers that might eavesdrop on this online, the idea is to know what the money's buying, okay? What neighborhood would I like to be in, and what is the money buying in that neighborhood these days, and how does it relate to my pre-approval? So it's the same information around the 4-letter word in real estate, sold. It's beneficial. It's the most beneficial property information, pictures and details combined, with a context of sold.
Yeah.
You got me?
Yes.
Very simple, isn't it? Carla? Did I lose
Yes.
you? It's very simple, isn't it? No? Carla?
Oh,
is
I'm
it-
sorry. You're going in and out.
I am?
Yes.
Okay. Can everybody else hear me okay?
Yeah.
Somebody else unmute my mic. It's going to be tough here because I got a lot of going on in my
I can
computer.
hear you.
Okay, good. All right, Amanda, thank you. All right, here we go. I'm going to listen to it again, and I'm going to find out. Carla,
Okay.
do you have the script in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to stare at it. Now, you know what you said in this. I don't know if you can hear what you're saying on my screen, but you can play it afterwards. I'm going to listen to it and see how close it looks like
Okay.
this. Carla, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw your beautiful house online and I noticed that it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that would help you sell it the next time. May I do that? That's all there is to it.
Yes.
That's all there is to it.
Okay.
So let's listen to how far off that is, even though the tone is nice. Here we go.
Yes, hello. Wilda, please. Sturdivant.
This is a Wilda.
Oh, hi, Awilda. My name is Carla. I'm calling from Remax Champions. Reason for the call, I noticed you might be interested in selling.
I noticed you might be interested in selling. Okay, so tell me, were you calling an expired lead or something different? I should know that.
No, this was a Z buyer.
Okay, that matters. So
This
let me
was
listen.
on-
Okay,
yeah.
good. Let me
Uh-huh.
listen to the rest of it.
Okay.
Your home, and I'd like to send you some information, a great starter package.
See, okay, so the context now is different than expired. Awilda, keep going. It's her name and her question. You're starting to say her last name like you complicate it. Awilda? Okay, Awilda?
Yeah.
Like suck her in. Awilda? It's going to be a yes or a no. Or who's this? And you go right on. Okay?
Yeah.
Awilda? Who's
Okay.
this? Oh, Awilda, this is, boom, off you go. This is Carla
Okay.
from the Jones team. The reason I'm calling is because we saw online. Now, online, if she's a Z buyer, be specific. I see that you requested a valuation for your property. Now, see, if those guys haven't trained you on what the Z buyer ad says, then that's back on them. Have they or have they
Right.
not?
I did go over that. I did go over that with Kyle, and he specifically said not to say that she had gone on our site to look up because he wants me to just stick to the other script, the general seller script. He doesn't want me to do that.
Okay, I don't agree.
I
with,
was
I don't
doing
agree with
that,
him.
so-
I don't agree with him.
Okay.
I don't agree with him.
Okay.
I will slam into him with my helmet on next week. You tell him I said that today.
Okay.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
You're going to call somebody and not give them the context with which they engaged you. Why not? You'd have to really sell me
Right.
on why
I
not.
was doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would be the reason? Why not? See what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand why top
Right.
producers
Oh, I
and
agree.
people
agree.
interfere with that of service thing. If you have an inbound lead, any kind, inbound, they took action at a gateway or an offer.
Right. They reached out to us.
Correct.
They reached out to us, so I'm just right.
You're
I
right.
agree.
And all you're doing is fulfilling.
It's less of a cold call.
You got
It's
it.
less of a cold call.
All
that
right.
way.
See, now
Yep.
you're on the same page with me identically. We have context. You interfered
Right.
with me. It's even easier than an outbound call where I'm calling you and you don't know me. You have context. You came into one of our sites, and if
Right.
you have a URL, you say it. Do you know what the Z Buyer site is? Is there a URL attached to it for you guys?
Is there what attached to you?
The URL, the address, the web address.
URL?
The
What?
web address.
Oh yes, yes,
What is
yes.
it? What's it called?
Or no, actually, I apologize. No, that is not attached to the website. No,
Okay.
it doesn't have a URL.
Carla, somewhere along the line, they went to Z Buyer, and there's a web URL. You need to reference that. You understand where I'm coming from?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
This is all about context. You're right. You're not interfering it, but he's turned
Right.
you into a call that is interfering with her. You follow me? Like,
Right.
you're not
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
Let's pretend it's what is the name of that? Rancho Cucamonga, right?
Uh-huh.
Carla, this is Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. The reason I'm calling is because I saw that you asked for an evaluation, or I saw that you were interested in selling your house via our website, ranchocucamongabuynow.com. So I'd like to send you some information that would help you get started in evaluating what it's worth. May I do that? You have to be
Right.
about them.
Because you've already referenced. Yeah, you're going to the site that I was already at. You're telling me. You're just giving me a courtesy call.
It's exactly
You're
right.
following up.
Yeah, I like what you just said. It was perfect, like a true telemarketer. I'm giving you a courtesy call to be of service because you asked for this thing. So in order
Right.
to evaluate your property and see what a cash purchase would be worth, let me start off by sending you what? Go right back to the beginning of this call. What? What are you going to send me, Carla? Tell me what. What's in it?
Right. The seller plan.
Carla, no. You just snap back. No. What do they want?
The pictures, the
Yeah,
details.
Carla, write it down somewhere. Just do it while we're doing it. Like you keep snapping back to something that's not right. You were just on a roll. You were explaining to me what was right about the call and what was wrong about it. And you snap right back. You know why? You don't know the value of the offer. It's not rooted in you yet. You're being very scripted and very very intelligent. That was a fabulous assessment. You could have taught the class right there. Okay, there's my 5 gold star statement for you. You understood it perfectly. It's a courtesy call. It's an of service call. You had it. But then the minute I ask you to explain the offer, again, you're lost. Every single seller, every single buyer, when you're being of service, what is the thing that you could give them? You could curate. You could go into MLS, pull it out, and give it to them. What is it?
Pictures and details
Okay.
of their home.
Okay. That's for the, well.
And houses that sold in the area. Houses that sold in the area.
Good. For the buyer, give it to me for the buyer side. What are you going to give me? I want to buy in Rancho Cucamonga from 550 to 750. What are you going to give me?
I'll also send you of homes that you're interested in the area.
No. Go back to the same thing.
That are for sale.
Start with the core offer. Wonderful. We believe that the best thing that a buyer could do buying in Rancho Cucamonga from 550 to 750 would be a list of properties that sold in that price range so you can see what the money just recently bought.
Oh, right. The same.
But
the
Carla,
same
don't say right. Carla, don't agree with me. I'm a well-seasoned veteran and a coach. So it's rooted in me, right? It just comes out of me naturally in any context. Don't say right. You have to retrain your brain to say it. Because in the heat of the moment, in the speed of the call, which is why I always rough everybody up on this call, I talk at you fast to make you nervous because that's what naturally happens on an outbound call, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we get nervous. And so the more that you can practice under a little bit of duress with role play, which is what we're going to do next, okay? You and I are going to role play this out. Okay. We're going to be 2 different types of leads. I am asking one more time if you are aware of the ZBuyer site URL, its web address, the name of it. If no, we'll make one up for now. And 2, do you know what the offer is that's being made specifically to that person who opts in?
Yeah, the website I do not know. I do not know which website because Kyle said he wanted me to stick to this script. So I do not know.
Okay, so he's never showed you the ZBuyer site. He's never showed you the offer.
No.
Okay, good. Fair enough. That's no longer on you. That's on him, and I will deal with him. Okay. And in fact, I will call him right after the call, and you should text him, say he's looking for you. Okay. He's looking for you. So the next thing is we're going to call it Rancho Cucamonga cash offer because that's what they are, right? They're looking for cash offer, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to make it up. Rancho Cucamonga offer.com. That's going to be the name of it. And we're going to role play. And I'm going to be the guy calling you. The next thing is ask for a cash offer. Okay. So here we go. By the way, just give me the script that he gave you for now that I have the context of a cash offer. Give me that the script, please.
Okay. The script he gave me is the general seller script. This is Carla from Remax Champion. I'm calling you because I noticed you might be interested in selling your home, and I'd like to send you some information that will help you sell it. May I do that?
Okay. That's good. That's better than what you said. You know what I mean? Like you started.
That's the one that, yes.
You started to get it. You started to get into. That's the one I've been using. Oh, all right. You started getting into all this other stuff about what's in it. That's just your own nervousness and insecurity about the value of the package. This is really what he's given you as a general trigger that we're just taking deeper. Okay. So I don't want to beat him up if you're cheating his script too. So say it to me one more time.
Okay. Hi, this is Carla from Remax Champions, and I'm calling you because I noticed you might be interested in selling your home. And I'd like to send you some information that will help you sell it. May I do that for you?
Yeah, good. I like it. The only thing is I just don't like that there's no context when you have it. There has to be something in here that says, I know. How did you notice? Don't make me as the consumer guess how you noticed.
No, that's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
Before I was saying, hi, this is Carla from Remax Champions, and I'm calling you because I noticed you had gone on our website. You might be interested in selling your home, and I'd like to send you some information that will help you sell it.
Yeah,
may I do that?
Yeah, you would be even more specific. I noticed that you've gone on our website. See, if the offer says a cash offer, that matters, right? I noticed that you go on our website seeking a cash offer, so I wanted to help you get some information to you that will help you, get the right cash offer, right? Something like that, just something simple.
Right.
All you're doing is acknowledging what just happened.
And I didn't quite understand. Kyle, because at the bottom it does say on the Z Buyer, it says get cash offer, that they were looking for a get cash offer. So I was saying, and he said, no, we're not sure if that's what they were exactly looking for.
Well, see,
then
he needs to explain that.
Else.
Well, then he needs to explain that to us. I mean, that's, if we don't know what they're making, what they're requesting, that's a disaster on the marketing side of things. And that sets you up for too much guessing. I don't like it. By the way, let's go back. I want to listen to the rest of this call and get some context. Any questions on this, by the way? This is by the way, Carla, this is a really good test case for everybody to listen to. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts so far? This is really good stuff. Like, we can accomplish something here today. Anybody have questions? I know it's a thin crowd post Thanksgiving, but anybody have questions? You've all been muted on the way in, so you have to unmute yourself if you want to add to this or ask me a question, okay? Amanda, you put something in the chat. It's definitely true that no matter...
But then you just opened it. What I was thinking is that it's definitely true. It doesn't matter what is making you unsure. Like, if you don't know, when your agent might be available, if they're on vacation, when they might be back, you don't know where the information is coming in. Like this call she had from a totally different list. If there's an unsure item that in your brain, it does, however it does it, I don't understand, but it does take you a little bit off script.
Totally.
When you're trying to think in your head, oh, you know what, I don't know if this or that, and you're thinking that while they're talking, then you're not listening, so then you're getting thrown off. Not that the person is even throwing you off. It could just be something in your own group that you don't know about or you don't feel you know about.
Amen. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
That's pretty powerful.
I think that's why training roots that out, and you can hear it in yourselves, right? So, again, you have to trust me to go there with you, because otherwise you'll whine and cry that I beat you up when I didn't. I'm saying, look, I can hear your brains thinking. I can hear them. And by the way, I'm always protective of you all. You just heard me say this. Why is Kyle, tweaking this? Where is Kyle today? Where's Jonesy today? Jonesy has to go out there and do this thing. Is he connected to Carla? Does Carla, have conversation with him? So there's this continuum of people that we all have to be wired in together very tightly. I mean, doesn't look like Autumn is here today, but Autumn and I and Laura, and even now Lauren, we are always talking and trying to tighten what's being said to whom and when and why. And again, always default, Amanda, when that happens, to just being of service. And the fallback when you become unsure is just remember this and write this down for the two of you, since you are leaning in today. Be resourceful, okay? Or put the word just in front of it. You can write the whole line. When in doubt, I like what you said. When unsure, write this down, the two of you, if you have a pen. When unsure, just be resourceful. It's all I could ever ask for you as your coaching guide. When unsure, just be resourceful, okay? So in other words, you're staying in front of you, and you're right. You can't hear people when you get up in your head. My son's learning this for the SATs right now from his coach. His coach is, you think I'm aggressive. He pounds the table in the house, and he gets up and he walks around, and he says, your generation is so dumb. You're always up in your head. You just don't look in front of you. He's right. We're always up in our head because what we're doing is serving our own anxiety or serving our own persona that wants to be right, that wants to be perfect. We're trying to perform. And that's the biggest mistake we can all ever make. It's why most people, Amanda and Carla, are afraid of public speaking, because they don't recognize that. Let's say I gave you both, any of you, a subject to speak about that you really, really knew it was your passion. And so there's a whole bunch of people in the audience today. There's 1,000 people in this audience today that want to know what you know. And you're going to go up there and you're going to go out and you're going to see, as my kids would say, too many heads, right? That's what they say when this crowd's too big for them, they can't handle. Too many heads, mad heads, they say. And you're going to freak out. When I'm going to tell you, well, look, wait a minute. Just be of service to those people. Just talk about your journey as if it's them starting all over. There you are. You see yourself reflected in them, and you can be of service, and you get excited. Get out of yourself. And it's a strange sense of selfishness. Why do we keep snapping back? Because we're trying to be so right. I have never asked you to be perfectly right on any of these calls. And if you work with somebody that's a team leader, team owner that gets coached by me privately, then they sent you here to me. So if you don't hear me saying, oh, you're not perfect, I am saying, don't stray from that initial scripting. Let's just make it fit the context. And your instincts are better than the team leaders you work for because you're true telemarketers. That's what you do. But you're right, Amanda. If you think Gail and Danny are grading you when we listen to these things, then you're going to sound like almost like a space shot, right? Because you can't listen and talk at the same time, and you're fumbling and stumbling, and you realize, well, that's not me. Well, I know why. It's because you're trying to do it, make a performance and make it perfect, and you're unsure. Just be resourceful. Nobody ever asked you to be perfect. Over time, the continuum of personal growth should look slow and steady. We're not looking for a spike up. We're looking for milestones. Did you set the package up correctly? Did you make the offer correctly? And getting an offer that converts is really, really, really difficult, right? Most difficult thing in marketing is to come up with an offer that converts. The script is an offer that converts. We know that. So, Carla, let me come back to you, okay? I'm going to listen to this, right? I'm going to listen to this. Yeah. Does that help? I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel up in your head and unsure at times when you're on the phone?
No, actually, I feel pretty comfortable. Most of the time will connect, like this particular lady, I followed up with her. She's a school teacher. She told me all about how she's at home with the kids with Zoom. And anyways, we connected very well. I connect really good with people. That's not the problem. To be honest with you, Danny, my only issue, I mean, I shouldn't say only, is that I'm probably making, I'm a type of person I want to produce and do well for Scott and Kyle. I'll dial maybe, 300-400 calls during a shift, but I'm getting a lot of voicemail. They see it's a real estate office because they've gotten maybe 100 calls prior to me. So they're screening their calls or whatnot. So I do get a lot of voicemails. So I'm trying to always be ready. I've got the script in front of me, ready to call or ready to speak. And sometimes because I'm not speaking, I'll speak to maybe 30, 40 people in a shift in a 7-hour day out of 300-400 voicemails. I don't know if Amanda has that as well.
Yeah.
But
everybody does. It's a numbers game. Keep coming.
When I'm speaking to the person, I really hold on to it and I try to get it as far as get the packet out or whatnot. Sure. But that's my thing is it's not flowing enough for me because I feel, so I did do role playing with Barbara, one of the other ladies that Scott had hired on. She came in the office last week and I said, let's do some role playing and just kind of repetition. I know after, you say something enough times, it becomes more repetition. That's where I'm at. I am making, packets going out, 60, 70 packets, appointments for Scott. Now I'm starting to actually put on his calendar 2 or 3 appointments. And in fact, he listed, I think 1 or 2 is getting ready to list that I had sent him on. So I'm doing it, but I definitely need help as far as I appreciate these calls a lot. I take a lot of notes. I really do appreciate all that you put in. I take notes on everything you say.
Good. And what I want to do is hear you making it authentically yours so you're comfortable. And comfortable is a dangerous word, right? Because building rapport, I get nervous about that permeating into this body of work here because this is very tactical on these calls, right? Whether it's I don't know if I have any outside sales issues today because we're halfway through the call. I'll take those too because that's the connector that you're setting up. So I'm trying to stay very tactical to be of service. Remember that, right? What we're doing is we're beating on certain words that are very precise because we understand that over time and repetition, we hear patterns, right? We see patterns, we hear them. It's very auditory in this call, right? Because for inside sales telemarketing, the best we can do is listen to 2 sides, but more importantly, the consumer. Is the consumer reacting to what we believe we're doing to be of service? And remember, I really hammered you today to learn that the best of service thing in our business is to curate 5 or 6 properties that sold in the area the seller is selling, right? Or the buyer is buying. So number 1 service you can do is to curate, meaning go into MLS, this massive place of information, curate, go in and sift and sort for them, organize, and deliver. It's massively valuable. It's a service for free, and it's incredibly, it's incredibly powerful. I can't believe how many top producers have dismissed me over the years. Well, they can do that themselves online. Yeah, but like I can go run a company with no people too and drown myself doing it. So like that's the whole concept is that did you make that person's life easier by being of service? And since this is the initial part of the continuum, I'm doing it for free. It's truly a free service, which it really is effective to the extent that that's a law of human behavior, the law of reciprocity. If I suggest I'm going to give you in this step, I'd like to send you some information that will help you sell. Well, what are you going to send me? Well, I'm going to go in and curate, meaning I'm going to gather 5 or 6 of the properties around you that sold. And if you give me an idea what you think your property's worth, I'll go a little above and a little bit below. I'll look back X number of months to get enough, 5, 6, 7, complete with pictures and details from the MLS, slap them in the packet, and I'll send them out. Oh, by the way, I'll also slip in. Here we go with this transition, which is where I wanted to get with you today. I'll also slip in a copy of the plan Scott uses to help his sellers get their property sold. This is the exact plan.
I like that.
This is the exact plan. But that's it. But that's physically what we're doing. This is why I want you all to have that package. Whether you're outside sales or inside sales, it's the same damn package. When we transfer to outside sales, the difference between what you're about to send and what we bring to the house is an analysis. It's the first time analysis, insight, enters into the conversation. Is if I can get Scott out there, he'll analyze what these sales mean to you and your value. Whether you're buying, cash buyer from Z Buyer, whether you're selling expired, doesn't matter. He will come out with this sold information and he will analyze that, and he'll give you his insights on what you should do to win. So you bring it all the way from the information, and you need to know how to sell the information sandwich. Give them a heavy dose of what they want. Pictures and details of properties, click it up above and beyond what everybody else is doing. I will print it out and give you solds. If they're a buyer, yes, of course, I'll print out some for sales too, but look at the solds first, right? That's the idea. Am I making sense here to both of you?
Yes, and I wrote in your notes on one of the Zoom calls, I like the value ladder. We're building the value. We're giving, these are gifts. We're giving them gifts. Oh, by the way, I can send you this. So it's always, I appreciate, thank you. We're just giving additional.
But get really, really attached to the value of the package you're sending. I want you two to fall in love with this, okay? Mm-hmm. Like I do. I mean, after all these years, I'm like, Eureka, this is really helpful. And if they're not going to let me in, at least I leave a positive footprint in my marketplace. I was of service to that person. I curated some information. I gave them a copy of the generic what to do version of my plan. Of course, it's not how I would do it for you because I'm not in your house. I don't know your circumstances. So if I don't get in your house and you don't have a real reason to sell, we're not getting to the how I would do it for you, right? But in the meantime, this is what to do with or without me. You take these 5 or 6 properties that sold, you look at the steps to sell a property, and you begin to come up with the customization yourself. Now, I know you can't do that. So if you just let me in the house and I give you my insights, well, then we're going up the value ladder. And you still don't have to hire me. How about that? It's incredibly valuable. I mean, if we just would think about what business we're in and what is valuable to the consumer, we're talking about, I work for this big brokerage and we have 1,900 people and my brand is it what? Blech. Means nothing to the consumer. Nothing. A brand doesn't sell a house. A brand doesn't help you buy a house. The size of your company, the agent's experience, none of that necessarily is the first step. Follow? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Information is. We live in the what age? What age do we live in?
Information age.
Yes.
Information.
We live in the information age. So the ability to use machinery, digital machinery, to go in, sift and sort through the MLS. Ladies, I've been around this business so long that bi-weekly a book came out, organizing and curating. That was the service the MLS provided to the agent. They would take all the information that they had and they would print it in a book, and you would get it every other week. And you would sift and sort through it yourself, right? And if there was a good agent, they'd sit with you in an office and they'd
it was like a phone book.
It's exactly what it was. So think about how wonderful these tools are, that we can go in, we can do an MLS search through one of these softwares. Mine is Flex MLS and MLS Pin. Those are the two we use. Do a search, curate up the 5 or 6. So this is me doing this in my office, somebody at my office doing this, putting this together, printing it out in a nice clean package, pictures and details. Oh, by the way, since you're buying, don't do it without a plan. Since you're selling, don't do it without a plan. Stack, boom, give it away to an open house. Mail it to you after I talk to you on the phone. Whatever. It is curated and organized information when buying or selling in my geography. And you need this so that you can win. That's an of-service foundational cornerstone for business. So if you will get emotionally attached to that, the both of you, okay, and anybody else listening, then all of a sudden, Amanda, you're not up in your head. Because you say, you know what? Gail's not in this week, but you have a big reason to sell. Let me just get this out to you, okay? And you take a look at it, be very helpful information. Again, let me just reiterate, 5 or 6 pictures in detail, properties with pictures and details right from MLS that's sold around you, and the plan that she customizes. And then next week, not only will I call you to make sure you got it, I'll know her schedule better. See my point? Like you're trying to be perfect with, it's a lot, ladies. You're trying to be perfect with a lot. You're orchestra leading in this moment in time. Well, if I get it to you, then I'm going to call you back. Then when I call you back, I can see if you want to get Gail in. And then when Gail gets in, we'll organize that. And then we'll have to do, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. So just relax into the moment with the person. Your job, J-O-B, stick to whatever formulaic approach that you can pattern. You're not pattern interrupt. You're interrupting them. Even Carla, if they opted into your website, when you call them, you're interrupting them in that moment of time. Follow?
Yes.
Because they may or may not be expecting that at all from any of us. So whether it's a totally cold outbound call, meaning they have no context that you'd be calling, or they've inbounded with a lead and you've outbounded with a follow-up call, okay? It doesn't matter in the moment. So what you say to open up the conversation is very tactical. To be able to cut through all the noise of life or the bad moment you happen to catch them in. It's very extremely tactical in the beginning. And the formulaic approach can be refined in a Twitter-esque edit down to the least amount of words to have the maximum effect to be of service. I'll say that again, okay? The idea in any outbound, including when somebody walks through an open house for all you outside sales agents, what you say at the door when they hit it matters because it sets up the experience for the rest of the open house, the rest of the telephone call, right? That's what it does. So it's very easy to say, just their name. It's about them immediately the minute you say their name. And because you know you need them to play a game with you, the question mark, this big black question mark after their name, first name, question mark, even the tonality, you'll play with that to see what provokes them to say yes or who's this, right? And you just roll. This is your show in the beginning. Outside sales agents in open houses don't realize this too. Also, outside sales agents going to a listing presentation don't understand the extremely tactical moments that you have, right? Let me give you an example, ladies. By the way, any questions, because these two are doing a great job of playing the game here today. Any questions? I don't want to steamroll the rest of the group, but these ladies are here the day after Thanksgiving as true students, which I love you both for. I'm thankful for the fact that you will hang in there with this body of work. Anybody else have questions or thoughts?
Thank you for all the coaching.
Yeah, well, you guys rock.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you're so close to being outstanding. Like, really. It's just a matter of, it's my burden to get this value understanding in your soul, right? And to enjoy this body of work, ladies, to really know that when somebody goes to sell or buy a property is the single largest financial and emotional transaction most will ever make in a lifetime. So if you can curate, organize, and deliver this quality information, you can save them tremendous anxiety. Well, how would that make you feel? I mean, doesn't it become a super fulfilling business when you know that level of service can change somebody's state from anxiety to enjoyment of the process? You have that ability, right? Makes this job interesting, doesn't it? Very. Self-fulfilling. I want you self-fulfilled. I don't want you to be automatons on the phone repeating a script. And I got 17 appointments. Who cares? Did you affect some lives positively? That's what we're creating.
Exactly.
Right?
Mhm.
That's what we're creating. So I want you to be attached to the gravity of the moment here, and that you have this information curated, meaning organized by you, for them, to start them off in the right direction so they don't run into the rocks during this process. Think about what you're doing when you call, a cash buyer, Carla, is typically somebody that's like so anxious, they just want somebody to give them a number. Follow me?
Yes.
Just give me the number. What's the number? And they know it's going to be low, and they want the pain. And it expired clearly, like they just ran into the wall. It didn't work out, right? So,
Right.
Or somebody just trying to sell and they're elderly. I mean, I just, dealt with some elderly folks, and it was tremendously stressful for them. But I'm totally self-fulfilled because, we were able to walk them through this guided process so they knew where they were at every step of the way. Right? And then you could hear when they got into the new place, the shoulders had just dropped 6 inches. The joy in her voice came back. I mean, this is very self-fulfilling work that nobody should be in this business if they don't understand how to attach to that, right? Going through the motions in this business, trying to chase a buck, this business will swallow you like a hungry killer whale, right?
Right.
So, all right. So now the outside sales, I'm just going to prove the tactical connection to this. I'll give you first scenario I'll talk about is the seller. There are a lot of the top producers that I coach. They all do the same thing, and especially the dudes with the biggest egos and insecurities. I'll plead guilty having been one of them, right? We just had this big ego. We're going to go in there and talk at somebody for 2 hours, and we're thinking, oh, I'm so great, and my presentation is so great. You know what they were doing, ladies, when they said yes to us? Surrendering so we would shut up. How about that, right? That's what they were doing. It wasn't effective to the level it could be of service. Even though my heart was, I wanted to be of service, I misunderstood. There was nobody to slap me upside the back of the head and say, stop doing that. Listen to them. Is this empowering them to make a decision, which by default comes with you as part of its solution, right? There's a difference.
Right.
So let's say, Carla, let's say, Amanda, you've booked an appointment. Wonderful. Danny, Gail, Scott, they will be there 7:30 on, Friday night. Okay, super. So now Danny gets the note from Carla. Hey, you've been booked for an appointment at 7:30. Laura's put the package together for you. What package? A very similar one to the one Carla sent a week ago that is sitting there. We're going to, again, I'm not going to, if I know they've gotten the full-blown magazine of the seller course, I'm not going to bring that with me. I'll just bring the infographic, and then I will bring the interpretive information that's most important, which is what? I will take with me also a copy of the market update so they can see what the market's doing, because I want to talk about how that relates to their negotiation and their pricing. And on the other side, so you've got my infographic, 7-step pinwheel. That's it. Because in the house in a face-to-face presentation, I don't want to lose us to rapport, ladies. I don't want to lose us to just connection and the kids played hockey together, whatever. I don't want to lose us. I want to keep us on track at 7 simple points that you can understand what I'm going to take you through. And then when I need interpretive information, I'm going to talk about what the real, days on market is for this marketplace, what the sold to ask ratio is, meaning if we price it right, how much can they expect to give up in negotiation? Then the interpretive analysis of the sales. This is the first time comparable market analysis takes place. It doesn't take place when I send you 5 or 6 properties. There's no analysis coming from me. So be careful of the terms we fall sucker to in this business too. It is my analysis, and I do a ratio analysis, sold to assessed, and some things that it means something to me that I explain to them. And then lastly, what's most important to them is once we have a determination of where we think it will sell, a net sheet. What can they expect to walk away with after all costs, including commission, tax and deed stamps, anything to do with their septic system? After all costs, what will they walk away with? So they are truly empowered and in control before the process ever happens and before they have to decide whether they want to choose me or not. So I am going to go to a house with a listing package that you have set me up for to leave them even more empowered with this tremendous insight, where with or without me, they now have a drastic and deep understanding of what's about to shake out here. And especially if they need to buy something, they now have an idea of reality. This is really what I could walk with. And in my experience, as a better tactical agent in the house. Most people after this whole process, and I'll go through the process, I told you the information package and how it differs from yours slightly. It picks up where you left off. You sent the 7 steps. I summarized with the 7-step infographic. You took the pictures and details and you sent that. I interpret that. That's it. That's the connecting blocks that bring me up to that next step where insight is possible. And context of very specific house stuff, meaning I can see their house and their condition. The specific advice gets given, the insight, the interpretation. Okay. So what that looks like is I will get there a little bit early and I will have in there the seller qualifying questionnaire. I will look where you left off. Why are they selling? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do they think it's worth? Okay, those are the 3 most important things for me as I pull into the driveway. And that's where I look at it. I don't go ever in biased. Okay, I let my team and my system do what it's supposed to do. And I drive there with faith that we've done it right. And when I get there, I sit there, I have that contemplative moment. Why are these people moving? On a scale of 1 to 10. That way it tells me my challenges. It doesn't sound like a huge why. And he's a little low on the scale. Or up 10. Like they want out. And I got to solve a problem that they expired on or whatever they're worried about. So I go in there and I can look at some of the other details like have they done anything? What's the feature? But that's going to tell me more so about how to price it. So I got to get inside. So those first 3 things in the car. Meet them at the door. Thank you so much for having me over. We appreciate it. Genuinely. Like I am thrilled to have this opportunity, as you should be thrilled, Carla, when somebody finally picks up the phone to have that opportunity to serve. I'm genuinely thrilled to have the opportunity to serve at their home. It's a gift to be invited into the privacy of this person's home, right? Would it be okay if we took the nickel tour of the property so I can see what we're talking about? Because now what you want is my insight to interpret this sold information so I can give you, Carla, what way back when you said, I want to know what it's worth. Well, how can you know what it's worth if you haven't walked this whole walk properly? What are you going to do, throw a dart up against a pricing chart and guess? No, walk the walk with us. And we'll leave you with true interpretive value based in fact, not some guesswork and not some BS resume that we're going to get there. No, we're not. We're going to guide you in the context of the business and the way it works. Sure, let's go for the nickel tour. Now, I say nickel because I don't need to know what kind of insulation is behind your walls. I don't need to know that. What I need to see is condition. So I can gauge when I give you my insight. Are you at, above, or below the average value that I'm going to see in my analysis? Just need to know condition. And I'm also going to give you insightful advice about what to do to improve your condition because that moves you up the value ladder. I'm also going to look at, is this house in need of staging? Is it really stuffed with tchotchkes and personal stuff that needs to go? Because when I get to marketing, I need the best palette I can get. So I'm looking for all of that, but I'm also listening to them. And I'm seeing how attached are they to the situation? Do they seem anxious? Are they standoffish? What kind of a human being, a human situation am I going to have when I sit down at the table? So we finish and I say, wonderful, thank you so much. May we sit, my show, my process. You asked me to do the best job for you. I'm going to ask you if we could sit at a table where you can both sit across from me so I can show you the information, point to it. So as I'm talking, you're following along. It's like a student. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, I just flopped down on the couch. No, it'd be better if we got up at the table here because I'd like to slide some information to you. Now, again, by doing that, I'm demonstrating this is a professional process. This isn't some casual meeting that we're going to have a cup of tea. Yeah, you can offer me a cup of coffee. No, thanks. I just had one. Right? Let's just sit down and we'll just talk about this. Now, I have that qualifying question. So it looks like I was just reiterating the situation here. You want to move because you're retiring and you'd like to go to Florida. Is that right? I mean, starting over again about them at the table, similar to the way that Carla, that Amanda left off. Oh, by the way, while I have you, why? I want them to reroute themselves and me in that same why that Carla and Amanda already got. So there's a continuity. So
Yes.
so they restated at the table so that now I know, were they telling the truth to Carla, Amanda, Autumn? They tell the truth, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Now I come there and they say it again, consistency. Okay, feeling like a good situation here, right? They said the same thing that's on the sheet, and they even went deeper. And it seems like, wow, they're even more anxious. So on a scale of 1 to 10, looks like you told Autumn you were 10. Is that right? Yes, I'm a 10, but she's a 7. Oh, hang on. How come? Well, I just don't know where we're going. No problem. We can deal with that. I get it. I'm here to interpret certainly what's going to happen on the sell side, but I'm happy while I'm here tonight after this to talk about how the control of the buy side. Great. Her shoulders come down. She goes from a 7 to a 9 without saying it, but I can see it happen. So that's what happens by being tactical in the beginning. Reroute yourself in this dialogue that's about them and why and how motivated. Okay, great, folks. I just want to go through this. I know we sent you out the full course, but I just want to touch base on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm watching them, seeing if they have questions or anything during the process. I'll stop. I'll deep dive, right? I'm not going to do that today because the campfire is always about that, right? Get to the end of it. Is there anything in this process that's important to you that I didn't cover? So I frame the 7 steps only using the infographic, okay? I frame it, why are you doing this, and how motivated are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the way it works. Before I get to the interpretive math about value and net, is there anything that's important to you that I didn't cover in this? Nope, you did a thorough job. Wonderful. Let's take a look at this math. Now, the way that we look at this, and boom, I will slide the packages of math across to them. And what that looks, not the net sheet, okay? What's sold around them and my interpretation. Again, this call's not about interpretation. It's me saying, I will interpret this a certain way. And I will always bracket a reasonable range. If you've ever gone to a doctor, they don't just, unless they're like looking for a malpractice, they don't go, oh, I know what's wrong with you. It's this. They say, look, let's analyze this. How does it feel when I pinch your ear, right? When I take your temperature? Well, it would be reasonable to conclude that you might be this. And they leave these brackets because it would be malpractice to say, yep, you're worth this. You don't know that. None of you do, because the real microeconomics of a negotiation come down to the last few minutes. So how would you know? This isn't bingo, right? It's not pricing it right bingo. It's reasonable that if we started your price here, it looks like it would be close enough. But remember, you see in this market, people are only giving up 2-3% when they price it right. So we'd like to be as close to real value as we can so we get as many buyers as quickly as we can. If not, we're not going to sweat it. You can cheat a little bit higher, but I'm going to tell you what, in 2 or 3 weeks, if you don't hear anybody, it's price. It's not me. It's not market, because you saw the process tonight. So now we get through that. They say, okay, and let me just go over the net sheet. Here's what, and I always tell them, I'm going to give you the conservative math. I know you might want to cheat a little bit. I heard you. But I've got conservative math. If I go a little bit at average and a little bit below, and I take away all the costs of sale, here's what you could net. I slide it across. They look at it 95% of the time, even off a conservative range, okay? One number, the next number, okay? They respond positively. Because when people see, unless it's a distress sale, which I don't like that business for this very reason, it's just a lot to go in and show somebody they're upside down. And it's a whole different business. And I'm not really in that business anymore. I'm not in that business anymore. I'm not interested in short sales anymore. If I could never do another one in the rest of my life, if somebody comes and says, will you be of service and help me? Yes. But my preference is no. Because I want to solve the problem for the people that have equity, that have an anxiety or a problem or a process problem. I want to help them. Right? I know my avatar. So when I show it to them, 95% of the time, there's a positive reaction. So ladies, I hope that's helpful, because nobody was going to ask me an outside sales question. That's the whole continuum, all the way back to your attachment to what you're selling them and what that upsell really sounds like when it's me, Scott, or Gail, right? Mm-hmm. Questions about that from you two, since you did a great job.
No, I like that. You're just, like you said, you're moving forward, adding more to from our notes, and now you're going over again, by the way, how highly motivated. You're going over the same question just to see, and then you're adding to it. You're adding to it the infographic, marketing update.
Here, write this down. The agent is adding insight. Just put that down. Mm-hmm. Keep it that simple. Yep. Don't stumble over what we're doing. The agent is adding their insight. That's it. That's
Yes.
it. If anybody ever challenges you too, well, why would I have Gail? Well, because she'll take this information, which I'm giving you, and she'll add her insight, which is super valuable.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
Very simple. When in doubt, simplify. Hey, Allison Egan, are you there?
Sure am.
Okay.
Yep.
If you
I've been. I put a couple things in the chat there,
I
including
saw
one of
it.
your
Thank you. If you,
infographics
yeah,
there.
if you could connect with Carla, could you can you guys private message each other here? Is that possible?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. If Allison, if you could give her Carla, who works with Scott Jones and Kyle Jones, if you could give her some personal contact info, Carla, just skip straight to Allison. Find out how she set up her Google number so that the recordings are better. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just we don't need third parties. Just go solve it yourself.
That's right.
Because this was very, very helpful for me to hear this, as you know, right? And I'm super proud of both of you two for fighting for this. Please let go of the wheel a little bit and breathe. When in doubt, what did you say? When
Is it okay, Allison, if I call you?
Yeah, you can call me, and also the number I put on there just happens to be my Google, number. So it's great. I'm just gonna post it to everybody on here. Why not? Boom. My email and my information if anybody needs to know about this.
we have a small call.
I'll be more than happy to help set it
And
up.
the reason for doing that is because Allison is a very organized person, has done a great job of setting up her Google Voice so that when I get recordings from her team, they're beautifully easy to open and super clear, crystal clear. So you really hear everything that you're trying to hear from the consumers, how they're reacting. We just get so many opportunities to hear different voices that we can sort of see patterns and chunk up the best way to be of service. All right, listen, I'm going to leave it with something that came out of here. The line is, when you are unsure, just be resourceful. Okay? When you are unsure, just be resourceful. Meaning, don't worry about being perfect. Just think of how in this moment, knowing what I know about this process and knowing that there's some challenges, I don't know my agent's schedule, whatever comes up, just be a good resource to that person that's in front of you and follow up. Say, I can do this now. Let me check on this and I'll follow up. Because you're controlling the future of that relationship by doing so. Okay? When you aren't sure, just be resourceful. All right, everybody, listen, appreciate you being here. Go enjoy the rest of the weekend. Ladies, I would love to hear 2 calls from you next week, if possible, 1 each. Go try to get some of this stuff in place, and we'll pop it up there and we'll play it. And I think it would be helpful for your own evolution to stay this 2 weeks in a row with me, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Bravo. Good work.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too.